guys, so we are going to be doing CHING number 4. I love doing these types of videos to kind of show you guys what has been selling for me and things maybe you can also just keep an eye out for whenever you're at thrift stores or looking for stuff to resell. So I did put together a bit longer of a list of recent solds. Typically with my CHINGs, I only went over like a couple of things, but I figured we'll try to get in some more stuff to make this slightly longer of a video and be able to share more things with you. So let's just get started. The first thing that I have is a shirt by a company called Skully. This was a really nice shirt, very like thick, heavy. When I did look up the brand, they were selling pretty good. I purchased this at a yard sale last summer, I believe it was, and we paid $10 for it. Eric was along with me, and for me, $10 at a yard sale is kind of pricey. You guys know I like spending the least amount as possible when I am buying to resell, and Eric is kind of helping me get over that a little bit. So we did end up paying $10 for it, but the shirt did sell for $49.99. So that was really awesome. Just a really nice shirt. So if you ever see that brand, definitely keep an eye out for it. Next thing we have is a Grumpy coffee mug, and we just actually got these not that long ago at a thrift store. Eric purchased, it was a shoe box, and it had like, I want to say 6 different mugs inside, and we still have some of the other mugs. So to average out, I'd say maybe we spent like $1 on this particular mug, if you wanna say, just because, you know, we have other mugs to sell still from that set that we got at the thrift store. But the Grumpy mug sold for $29.99. So definitely picking up mugs, they're usually cheap. You usually find them for really cheap at thrift stores and yard sales and stuff like that. And I like to pick up Disney and Starbucks, but just really like unique ones as well. So that one was a really nice sale. So next we have a pair of shoes, and these are Bionic sandals, and Bionic is one of those like comfort brand kind of shoe brands, like made specifically for people with like problematic foot issues and that type of thing. So just like really comfortable, like they have like really nice arch support and all of that. So these sandals, I paid $3 at the Goodwill bins, and they sold for $45.99. So I knew about the brand Bionic because I had sold a pair of Bionic shoes before in the past. So if you ever see that brand, definitely consider picking it up because it is rather pricey. So next we have a Timberline cologne. This is a vintage cologne I purchased at a thrift store, I believe, for like maybe $1.97 or $1.99, I'm going to guess. And this sold for $49.99. So I like picking up vintage perfume and cologne, but also even newer stuff is good to pick up as well. I'm not sure which video is going up first, whether it's going to be this CHING or I do have a thrift store haul that I need posted, and I picked up 2 bottles of Mary Kay men's cologne. And granted, it's discontinued, but still newer, and it's still like worth a good bit. So I wouldn't bypass newer stuff either, but I definitely gravitate towards the vintage. So next we have another pair of shoes. These are Danskos, and we paid about $7.47 for them. And I have sold a pair of Danskos in the past, but I've always been kind of hesitant, especially here lately, because if you belong to any eBay, Facebook groups, a lot of people tend to have return issues a lot with Danskos in particular, because they're kind of notorious for the soles deteriorating and falling apart. So definitely, like, if you pick one up, do a stress test on it. I mean, you should probably do that with like any shoe that you're purchasing to resell. Like, just, you know, if you hear any weird noises in the background, it's my dog. But just kind of like move the sole up and down, just kind of stretch it out and like twist and stuff like that, just to make sure that there's no dry rot going on the soles. So these ended up selling at $69.99, and these ones here looked brand new. I'm not as uncomfortable picking up ones that are in new condition, but even still, like, you can have a pair of brand new shoes and maybe they sat in your closet for a year and you just never wore them, and they could dry rot even though you never wore them. So definitely just keep that in mind if you do resell shoes, especially Danskos, because I know they're notorious for them. And I even had a pair of Clarks do that too. So I'm just throwing that out there. Next we have the Enesco buildings, the Precious Moments buildings that we got. Eric picked up at the thrift store. These were in a shoebox, and there's some other Precious Moments nativity figures in there that we haven't sold yet. They are listed. But the buildings did sell. So I forget what we paid for the box. I want to say it was like $2-3 at most for the entire box. And the buildings sold for $35.99. So that was pretty awesome. Precious Moments is one of those things that I always heard wasn't really worth anything, but the nativity sets definitely do seem to sell, and there are some other Precious Moments things that are worth a little bit, so I wouldn't completely look past them. So definitely, like, if you find something, look it up just to make sure it's not some piece that is very like sought after kind of thing. So that was awesome. I'm glad that they sold. Next we have another pair of sneakers. These are by a company called Kuru, and I had never heard of this brand before, but they're also kind of like a comfort shoe brand specifically for people with foot issues. I need to start wearing shoes that are more tailored to my feet, because oh boy, my feet hurt after working all day. So these ones here I got at Salvation Army 50% off day. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember what I paid for them. I'd say maybe $5 at the most. And they sold for $59.99. So that was really awesome. So like this brand Kuru, never heard of it before until I, you know, saw it at the thrift store and looked it up. So if you ever come across like a weird shoe brand you haven't heard of before, just take a minute to look it up, because it could be one of those like random brands that are worth a lot of money, but they kind of almost sound like off-brand names, you know what I mean? So that was a fun find there. Next we have, again, another shoebox full of stuff Eric got at the thrift store. He's doing so good with picking things to resell. So the Picard China, you guys will have seen that video where we got a shoebox full of the Picard China. We did sell the candle holders. There were 2 candle holders that were in the box. So if you want to like average out the box, I'd say maybe the candle holders would be like $1 a piece or $2 a piece if you want to say that. It's not much. And the candle holders sold for $25.99. So we do still have the other stuff listed. So hopefully those things will sell eventually. Alright, next we have a perfume. This is a Lancome mini perfume. This came out of one of my auction box lots that I won. I honestly have so much from these box lots that I have sold, or I have, you know, I'm going to be selling. So I already made my money back on both of these box lots just off like a few things that I've sold from them. So if you want to get technical, considering the box lots were so full of stuff, I mean, maybe I paid a penny for this perfume sample. Like, the thing's just like averaging out all of the stuff that was in the boxes. It's pretty much like I didn't pay practically anything for it. So anyway, just this one little mini perfume sample sold for $29.99. A lot of people collect miniature bottles of perfume. So like when you look at something like that, you're like, oh, it's so small, like you would hardly get any uses out of it. It's not necessarily about using something like that, it's about displaying it, and people just like to collect those little bottles. So, you know, everyone has a thing that they collect, so definitely don't just look past those thinking like, you know, no one's gonna want them because they only have like a little bit of perfume in, because that's not the case. Speaking of perfume, we got another one. This one is a Bath & Body Works Black Raspberry Vanilla perfume. I don't know if they sell this scent anymore. Some of the vintage what I call vintage Bath & Body Works scents do sell pretty well. So I got this at a thrift store. I probably paid like $1, $2 at most for it. And it sold for $39.99. And it was used as well. So again, even if you find a perfume and it's used, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like, people will still possibly buy it. So don't let that discourage you either. Next was a CoverGirl mascara. I don't know if they make this mascara anymore. I know it was like a Nature Luxe mascara. Typically I find this kind of stuff at yard sales. You know, people who extreme coupon and things like that will have like lots of stock of something that they stocked up on, and then they have all these different extras that they're selling. So I probably got this at a yard sale for $1, and I have so much makeup, you guys. It's insane. I kind of collect it, and it's just one of those things I have an abundance of. And when I was going through my mascaras the one day, I have like so many mascaras still like brand new in the packaging, and I was like, I'm not gonna use this mascara. I have so many. So I just decided to list it and paid $1 for it, and it sold for $16.99. So that's one thing. Like, if you are reselling, even if you're new to reselling or you've been reselling for a long time, things around your house are the best place to start, because there are plenty of things I'm sure you have in your home that you don't want anymore, you don't use, you're not going to use, and it's like, at that time, like, selling it, whatever you make on it is just, you know, good enough kind of thing, because you're not actually going somewhere and spending more money to buy stuff to resell. So definitely, if you are looking for things to resell or trying to find like things to resell, just look around your house, because I'm sure you'll find something buried in a drawer somewhere that can be sold. Next thing we have is a pair of headphones. These were like older headphones. Definitely one of those things that, you know, it was still in the packaging, vintage kind of thing. You know, some people are just looking for that one thing, and I don't know what I paid for these, maybe like $1.99 at the most. I don't remember if I got them at a yard sale or a thrift store, probably a thrift store. But these sold for $15.99. So just definitely like older electronics and stuff like that I know can be worth money. I haven't really gotten into electronics so much, but I know like VCRs and like the VCR DVD combos, I think people buy a lot to resell, but it's something that I haven't really gotten into. I feel like they're just, I don't know exactly how to test them. I mean, I'm sure Eric would, but we just never really got into electronics yet. But yeah, the headphones still, I think, you know, was a good buy. Next thing were a pair of jeans. These were super cool. They were actually by Kenny Rogers, vintage pair of jeans. I got these at a sale, and it wasn't necessarily a fill-a-bag sale. Basically, you would pick up stuff, fill your bag, and then they just kind of like give you a price kind of thing. So I'd say maybe I paid $1 for these. I remember I got like a ton of stuff and I barely paid anything. So $1 for the jeans, and they sold for $25.99. So love vintage clothes, especially when they still have the tags. I just think it's super cool. Like, for me, it's not even necessarily like getting the most money for it. Like, I just love the fact that, you know, I have something this awesome that still has the tags to it and someone out there wants to buy it. Like, that's just so cool in my opinion. Like, someone got these new with tags Kenny Rogers jeans from, like, I don't even know what year they were from, but I just think it's awesome. So next we have another pair of shoes. These ones are by Sperry. I do like to pick up Sperry, and I think I said before, I tend to just pick up like Sperry deck boots and then like the Sperry's that aren't necessarily the boat shoes. I don't know if the boat shoes are worth as much as they used to be resale wise. I haven't really checked though, but these were cool. They were like wedges. So we paid about $7.47 for them, and they sold for $34.99. So that was good. I do believe Eric actually purchased them, now that I think about it. And another thing that Eric purchased, this was another one of Eric purchases, he bought a Yonomi teacup. This was super cool. It had a dragon on it, and Eric's just interested in that kind of stuff. He's just like naturally drawn to it. So he said he paid $1.50 for this teacup, and we sold it for $26.99. So that is everything for my latest cha-ching. I don't put absolutely everything that I sell in these videos. It's just kind of like a list I put together of things I have sold recently, and I just cut off myself for like my next cha-ching video, so I'm already like excited for my next one because I already have like a couple things that have sold here just within the past 2 days that were really good cha-ching. So I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you have purchased any of these types of items to resell, or maybe like you've watched one of my cha-ching videos and found something that I sold and had the same success with it. Like, I'd love to hear those types of stories. Like, if I, you know, am actually being helpful because I'm trying to be with just like the things that I know kind of thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.